Let me just let that settle and sink in one more time. You can live the rest of your life and say that you're a Christian, and you can die and go to hell. But if you live the rest of your life and you're this, oh man. Oh man. Number one, the things that you're going to do on this earth. Oh, the places you will go, Dr. Seuss, come on. Right? Yeah. Because that term is where it's at. That term's where it matters. So, I know you're Christians tonight, but my first challenge to you is this. Are you a disciple? Because honestly, let me go this far and just say this. I don't think Jesus cares if you're a Christian. But I do think he really cares if you're a disciple. I think he really does, okay? Are you guys staying with me tonight?
Yeah.
Okay. Is this good stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right, listen. So this is what I want to do in the last few moments that I have with you before we go into worship. What I want to do is I want to kind of just give you just a general one thing that Jesus taught that a disciple is. Would you like to know that tonight? Just one good nugget of this is what Jesus said a disciple is. And if you mimic this, if you model this, if you implement this in your life, and if you do just, listen, you can throw out all the Old Testament, you can throw out the New Testament, you can throw out the Ten Commandments, all that stuff. If you just do this one thing, it all hinges on this, okay? Are you ready for this? So, this story that I'm about to read to you, it's found in John chapter 13. You might want to turn there, okay? And this comes right at the end of Jesus' life, okay? It just kind of set up the scenario for you of what's going on. Judas has just betrayed Christ. And so the 12 disciples are now down to 11, okay? And Jesus realizes that he's in his last moments of his life here on this earth. And so, he's just like any other good father, any other good mother. He's like, you know what? I just got a few moments left, and I need to make them count. I need to invest in my people, right? I need to invest in my children. And so that's what Jesus sets up to do. And he says, you know what? And how many of y'all remember that time when you finally left the house for the first time, and you had that talk with your parents, and your dad came in and said, hey, listen, there's just one more thing that I need to tell you. And he was like, well, wait a minute, your mom wants to tell you something too. There's just 2 more. There's just 5 more things. There's just 6 more things that I want to tell you before you remember that conversation? Yeah, me too. Didn't go so well. Praise God, I'm here today. But that's kind of where Jesus is at. And he's like, listen, I got a couple things that I just want to tell you. In fact, it's just one thing. Would you just listen to this? So verse 13, here he is. He says, my children, see, there he is. We're his kids, all right? I will be with you only a little longer. And now right here, this is funny. This is what happens right here. Right here, Peter goes, whoa. What do you mean you're going to be with me only a little longer, Jesus? You see, I'm going to be with you to the end. So, is John going? Because if John's going, are you singling me? Am I the only one not going? Because what do you mean you're only going to be here a little longer? And Jesus is like, hold on, brother. Catch your breath. Let me finish my sentence, all right? I will be with you only a little longer. You will look for me, and just as I told the Jews, so I tell you now, where I am going, you cannot come. And I'm telling you, Peter he was a mess at that point, all right? Because how many of y'all have you ever taken, in fact, we just talked about, me and David just went through this yesterday, the DISC profile. You ever done that? You know what I'm talking about? It kind of tells you what your personality is. Listen, I don't know what Peter was in that whole thing, but he's the guy that he has to have all the answers. And it's all got to be figured out. He's got to know before he goes what's going on, right? And so this verse right here is just freaking Peter out. He's like, what do you mean? You've been with us. What do you mean you're leaving us? And Jesus is like, listen, it's going to be all right. Calm down there, stranger. And he says this. He said, now, listen, Peter, this one, I'm going to give you a new command. All right, I can handle a new command. All right, a new command. A new command I give to you. And then he says this, a new command I give to you, love one another. And now John says, no, Jesus, that's not a new command. I mean, the whole Old Testament is, you talk about love the Lord your God. I mean, that's not a new command, Jesus. You're not giving us anything new there. We know that. We know to love. We got that. We understand that. But then Jesus he tacks something on to the end of that, doesn't he? He says this. He says, to love one another as I, what? Loved you. So you must love one another, right? Oh, so don't just love one another according to how I feel Christian looks. Love one another how I have discipled you. Can you see that? That's a whole different way. And he says, hey, Matthew, look at me. Matthew, do you remember? Do you remember when I first met you? And Matthew's like, yeah, I remember. Do you remember what you were? You were a tax collector. Everybody hated you. Everybody, and hey guys, do you remember? Do you remember when we first met Matthew? Do you remember how you felt about Matthew? And they're like, oh yeah, we know how we felt about Matthew. We didn't like Matthew so much. In fact, we didn't understand why you were bringing Matthew on the team. They're like, do you remember where Matthew, do you remember who you used to hang out with? He was like, oh yeah, I had some friends. I had friends. And Jesus is like, but I loved you anyway. I loved you anyway. And then he switches over to Nathaniel. He's like, hey, not Nathaniel, Matthew's not the only one in this boat. Hey, Nathaniel, hey, do you remember when you and I first met? Do you remember when I met you? And he says, hey, listen, and you know what, guys? You might want to pay attention to this because you weren't even around for this. But, hey, Nathaniel, remember when we met? You know, your brother, he came running to you. I've met the Messiah. I've met the Messiah. I've met the Messiah. And you said, and this is what you said, Nathaniel. You said, is there anything good that can come out of Nazareth? Nathaniel, you dissed my whole family. You just tore us apart. But you know what, Nathaniel? I loved you anyway. And I still asked you to come on my team. And we loved you anyway. You see, even when you come against me, I still love you. He said, and then he said, hey guys, do you remember?